Welcome, 7th graders, to your flipped video lesson for Chapter 3, Lesson 1 and 2. There you go. Welcome, 7th graders, to the flipped lesson for Chapter 3, Lessons 1 and 2. This is an introduction to what we'll be talking about, which will be the 13 colonies in colonial America. Please remember that you are watching this video for academic purposes, not for entertainment. Remember our discussion how when you're watching videos for academic, educational purposes, that you are to find a place where you can focus on the video. Don't be afraid to pause, rewind the video in case you've missed something, or to help you answer questions that come later in the film. And if I ask you to pause the film, make sure you pause it. If I ask a question, make sure you answer it. And if you answer it out loud, well, you'll give everyone a giggle at home. Let's begin. First off, why would people come over from England to the colonies? They left everything they knew, all their friends and family, any jobs, homes. If you look at the quote here, and maybe you need to pause it for a second, pause this film for a second, and just read this quote by a man named Mittelberger. Look at the picture for a moment too. That picture shows what life would have been like on the ships as they crossed the Atlantic Ocean. Well, hopefully you pause the video for a moment to look at the picture and the quote. So why did people come over? Well, basically they came over for a new life. They came over to own land that maybe they hadn't owned before. Religious freedom was a big one, as we'll learn throughout this chapter. And also some people were just plain force, whether it was as slaves or indentured servitude, which means you pledge your service to someone for a certain amount of time. And then that person, of course, pays for you to come over. Let's take a look at this map here of the 13 colonies. If we notice, these top colonies up here would be what we call the New England colonies, made up of Massachusetts, New Hampshire. This up here is actually Maine, which is part of Massachusetts. We have Rhode Island, Connecticut. In the middle we have, you guessed it, the middle colonies. Boy, aren't you guys smart. And then on the bottom here we have the southern colonies. Take a look at the similarities and differences between these three colonies just based on this map, which is in your TCI textbook. Look at the key here. And again, just pause the video for a moment and see if you can come up just off the top of your head, maybe one similarity between them. If you can, do two, and some differences. So after looking through that map, the question we need to ask ourselves is why would the British government really push and want their people to leave the country to come over to the colonies? You know, when people leave, you're losing out on taxes, you're losing out on workers. Well, it all stems from this economic philosophy called mercantilism, which is what a lot of countries in Europe during this time pushed. Mercantilism is when you gain wealth through controlling trade and establishing colonies. So for example, here's our mother country at the dinner table, and her colonies are coming with gold, silver, food, raw materials like lumber, wood, gold, beaver pelts. And they bring all of that back to the mother country. Through this, the mother country like England, or even France or Spain, were able to use these for their own benefit. Let's look at now the three specific colonies. First, we'll start with the New England colonies, which we can see in this lovely map. Here are some of their major exports, things that they gave back to England. This would be their raw materials. The New England colonies, their first settlers, sought religious freedom. They wanted to worship in a way that they felt they were not able to in England or any other country they were from originally. They had long, cold, hard winters, and because of that, and because of the rocky and hilly geography, you did not see a lot of the big farms like you did in the southern colonies. Instead, you saw a lot of small farms. They also got their money through trade. As you can see, they had lots of trade, lots of wood. They had lumber, fish, shipbuilding. Next, we have the middle colonies, which were in the middle. And again, we have a map here with a lovely key kind of showing the different items and resources that they had in this colony. So the middle colony, as you can see here on the notes, they had good soil, but they also had a lot of valleys. They also had a variety of crops and livestock. Culturally, they had a lot of different groups and thus a lot of different regions. You had people coming over from Germany. You had a lot of Dutch coming over. Of course, you also had the English coming over from England, and all these people brought different religions and different customs. For example, in Pennsylvania, we had the Quakers, which is a group of pacifists. These are people who do not believe in fighting. They were a religious group that sought freedom, and so they came over and started Pennsylvania. Lastly, we have the southern colonies. The southern colonies had great soil. They had a very wet climate. So it was the perfect combination for cash crops, which are crops that were grown to sell, like cotton and tobacco, and rice as well, as we can see from this map. Because of their needing labor to make more cash crops, to make more money, they relied heavily upon slaves, which were brought over from Africa and the Caribbean. They also relied heavily on indentured servants. Again, these are people who wanted to come over to the colonies. They couldn't afford it, so they had some rich people pay their way over, and in return, these indentured servants would work for these men or women for anywhere from 5 to 7 years. All right, so I want to take a moment here and just think about what we've gone over so far in this flipped lesson. So in your notebook, you're going to write down the answers to the following questions. So I would like you to please pause this film, answer these questions in your notebook. Please make sure you write down these titles, these questions, so you know what the answers represent. All right, so we're almost finished here. The last thing I want to talk about is just the government in the colonies. Now, all the colonies, for the most part, got a charter, which is a document from the king or queen, I guess, depending who was in charge of the country. And this document stated the boundaries of the colony and also how the colony would be governed, whether it would be through elected assemblymen or a governor that was chosen by the king or queen. And here we have a nice flow chart here. I'm looking at the flow chart myself. Hopefully your eyes are on that as well. So it would start as a British crown, followed by a governor. The governor would be appointed by the crown, and they oversaw the trade in the colonies. They also had final approval on all the laws, as it says, and they could dismiss the colonial assembly. And the colonial assembly, were chosen, they were voted upon from the people in the colony. I will allow you to read the rest on your own. Last thing here, if you could please go on to Edmodo, onto the homework page. That is where you will find the questions I would like you to answer in preparation for the next class. Thank you, and you were a great audience. Is this thing on? Is it? I can't tell if it's on. I thought I was supposed to be in this video, Mr. Volkman. What's a history video without Mr. Mint? Well, guess it's time to go eat. Anyone know where a good sub sandwich place is?